Coach, opening statement, if you would, please.
Just really, obviously, proud of our guys. Bradley's a terrific team. I think one of the best teams in the Valley. We talked about before the game. It was going to be more a test of will than a test of ability. They're so physical and so tough. They're going to challenge you, and we thought going in, was really going to test our will, and I was just couldn't be proud of our guys. I thought we fought. A couple times looked like we were about to get knocked out there midway through the first half, and certainly to start the second half, and we burned some timeouts trying to kind of recenter ourselves. And to their credit, they fought back. I told them there that's a culture win. That's a win when you're playing a team that good, as shorthanded as we are. That's one they should be very, very proud of. And again, that's a terrific Bradley team, and I thought our guys, that was, to me, to this point, our best efforts. We've had some good wins, but that to me takes the cake because of the circumstances and, of course, the level of competition.
Questions, please.
There's a lot to be satisfied with, especially when it comes to the starting five, but given the minutes they logged, what satisfies you the most about their collective effort?
I think just, you look at some numbers. I mean, we obviously got beat up a little bit on the backboards, but Zach Hobbs getting 9 defensive rebounds, Micah Thomas getting 8 defensive rebounds. The job that Julian Larry did on Terry Roberts. I thought Calix battled his tail off down there, trying to fight and scratch and claw on the post as an undersized big. I thought, every single guy, obviously Cooper with some huge shots, including that last one that was obviously just like I drew it up. Just unscripted, just making a play there at the end. Great player, kind of improvising and making something happen and hitting the biggest shot of the game. I think, Nick Hiddle coming off the bench gave us good minutes. Nick stuck a big 3, had 2 assists, 2 rebounds. It was really, I thought, just the having to play 40 minutes in a game that physical, that tough. Bradley plays fast. They play hard. They're big. They hit you. We talked about it going in. It's going to be a heavyweight fight. You had to be ready to stay in there. Like I said, test your will for 15 rounds. So probably proudest of that, and just that we made plays down the stretch, found ways on both ends of the floor to make plays down the stretch. And then and I thought our guys did a good job. We changed defenses some, played some little zone, little box and one, some different defenses, and they, for not having spent much time, basically a day on it, were able to adjust. I thought did a decent job in that. So, really couldn't be, again, prouder of their from an attention to detail, concentration, focus standpoint, of course, a toughness standpoint.
Bradley was up 64-61. You were in a bit of a drought at that point. What do you think was the determining factor in getting you back on? It was a game of rising and dropping tides for both teams, but what do you think got you back?
I think we started to do a little better job on the glass. Obviously, some timely shots. Coop hit a big one in there, a big 3 to tie it maybe or put us up. Then we got a steal, got out in transition, and Julian gets the layup. I thought our defense kind of were able to batten down the hatches a little bit. We tightened up on that end of the floor. I thought they were getting a little bit of separation. We were able to dig in and find a way to get stops, and then offensively, like I said, I think Coop made a big one. We get down. Calix had a really nice slip to the rim, I think, in that same stretch to get a layup and one. And so we put ourselves in position there to close it, and obviously Coop just made a unbelievably difficult shot there at the end to seal it. But I thought the defensive end, that was the key with them, was I thought we were going to make or miss shots. We talked about having to kind of not reinvent ourselves offensively, but we had to change what we do because we don't have, without Cam and without Jabo in particular, that takes away a lot of our split game, a lot of our cutting. Those are our trigger men, and we're without both of them. And so we have to find different ways to break pain, and we had to make some subtle tweaks in how we do things, and we're probably going to shoot more threes because just the lineups we're playing have more shooting. We're not going to get fouled as much. We're not going to have as much in terms of the post-up game or any post-up game. So we have to be different in how we do it, and I thought that kind of steadied the ship. Though the question was going to be, could we guard them? Could we rebound the ball? And I thought in that pocket right there, we did a really good job of guarding and of course, finishing possessions with rebounds, which is every game, but against them they're the best rebounding team, offensive rebounding team in the league by a good margin.
Mike, it's been a little quiet in the last couple games. You mentioned his rebounding, but his contribution with the scoring. He had several steals. He was, I don't know how many assists he ended up with, but he was distributing the ball well. Just what do you think he pulled up within himself to get himself kind of back onto the track that we saw early in the season?
I think, he's, he came back from Christmas break, I think, a little bit rejuvenated. We had some talks when he was back in Oklahoma, and myself and Mike and his dad. And, I think that, not the talks, obviously, I don't know, I'm not that motivating, but, just I think he got a chance to fill his cup back up. As a freshman, sometimes you get a little tired middle of the season. It's been a grind. He hit a wall and wasn't practicing as well, wasn't preparing as well. I think he came back and he looked rejuvenated when he returned. And then I think, obviously, those guys going out, now the ball is in his hands a lot more. We have the best passer in the league in Bledson. He leads the league in assists. Henry's up there as well. He's not as ball dominant when those guys are out there because of, the fact that you're going to play through them, and that opens up a lot of our cutting game and our split game with those guys. And so the combination, I think he's rejuvenated, and then his role, he's kind of had to be more of a quarterbacking kind of guy, because in that group, it's really he and Julian and Calix as a small five, which is why we're playing him, a small five that can break paint. Coop's not an elite driver. Hobbs, obviously, those guys are not going to be able to beat their guys one-on-one. So we're putting a lot on Mike in terms of quarterbacking. But it's good to see him, and this is something where hopefully as we reintegrate guys back in, that confidence, that level of play, the quarterbacking the way he does, again, everything tweaks and there's subtle adjustments, but that he can maintain that as we reintegrate those guys back in here over the next, 7 to 10 days.
The adversity you're dealing with is not of your own making, but adversity, sometimes it doesn't matter. It can roll downhill regardless. On the other hand, a win like this, what do you think it does for the guys to fight through what they fought through and, build some momentum off of what is not an ideal situation, but it was turned into one in a sense?
Yeah, I think this is a kind of win you'll talk about for a long time here at Indiana State. Not you necessarily, but me with our teams, right? Like, the circumstance of the game, and I don't think, I'm not, I don't know, but I'm assuming people didn't think we had much of a shot given, Bradley, how good they are, and the fact we're down 3 starters. But this team has been pretty resilient. They've been through a lot. Losing Reek right before the season, that was a big blow. They responded, win a tough game at Green Bay. We've had our moments, Ball State, and some different times where I think we maybe haven't had the right disposition. I think this win is a culture win. It's a win that shows that, hey, and that's what I told them, you have to compete, and we have to lay it out there, and to lay it out there together, and whatever it takes, it takes. And I told them, I said, I think, because my sister walked in from warm-ups, are like, God, they're big, And I told them, I said, look, we're not going to get bigger, we're not going to get more. They have the size, they have their roster, I said, it's going to be, it's going to be a scenario where if you want something bad enough, you got to figure it out. And competitors, to me, they like it best when it's toughest. The bigger the challenge, the more they embrace it, the more they like it, the tougher the circumstances, they thrive in that. That's what really being a competitor is. The harder it is, you're not really a competitor if you want it. It's great with the midway games, but you leave out of there, you're happy you won. But this is the kind of game where if you're truly a competitor, this is the kind of challenges you want. You want to take on the best in the valley. You don't want to do it shorthanded, but hey, this is the hand we're dealt. Let's figure out a way, whatever it takes, type mentality. And I think our guys did that. And, to beat a team that good, you got to have contributions from everybody up and down the roster. We've talked about all hands on deck. And really, obviously Tuck and Merv and Q didn't play, but the 7 guys who did, Cam Crawford played just a few seconds, but, the other 6 guys, it really impacted it in a positive way. And to go 40 minutes and do what they did, and like I said, some of their rebounding numbers in a game like this, with as outsized as we were.
All righty. Questions for our student athletes, please?
For both you guys, what's the most satisfying thing about this win?
Just the grit and toughness, it took to get there. Obviously we pulled it out and won the game, but there was 40 minutes in between there. There's a lot of grit, a lot of toughness, and a lot of things that that we're becoming a team on right now. And I think that's the best part. It's the funnest part. You know, and those are wins that, you know, Coach talks about, like you just said in the locker room, you know, you're going to talk about for a long time. You know, down 3 of your better players, your starters, and, you know, you come in here and you do whatever it takes to win. So.
So I'll say for us, I think it was the paying attention to details part of it. I think going into a couple games before, you know, we're kind of like the days ago on paying attention to the details and the small things. I think this game, when things got hard, I think we focused in even more on that and came together as more of a team and tried to pull it out and stay focused.
Mike, have you ever gone all 40 in a game before?
Yes, sir, I have. I think I actually did it once this time. I mean, this year before. I'm not accustomed to doing it all the time.
How do you guys knew you'd probably be playing big minutes today. How'd you mentally prepare for that?
Yeah, I mean, I think going into the game, I think me and Coop probably was really trying to focus on doing whatever the team needs today, whatever it is, no matter if it's scoring, assisting, being there, rebounding, all of it. The team's going to need it, and we got to be willing to do it if we want to be, you know, if we want to come out on top. So,
You've been your production had dropped a little bit before the holidays, but you've had 2 good games since you've come back, and very versatile game too. I mean, rebounds, steals, points, obviously. How'd you kind of reset your own mind?
yeah, I think, like you said, going back to the table, drawing table, and see what I was doing wrong, and trying to adjust to the way coaching needed me to play. And I think with that being said, I think you know, obviously having a couple 3 starters out this game, I think I need to come in and be more of a facilitator, get my teammates more involved, and also still look for Ron at times. And I think that's something I try to focus in on more going into these past 2 games. Actually.
Yeah, I'll talk on him a little bit there too. You know, I don't think we give him enough credit, especially, you know, like the way what we call sticking with the grind and sticking with it. You know, particularly Mike was playing pretty well at the beginning of the year. You know, had a stretch of a game or 2, or you know, might have not have been there, but it didn't change him. You know, he stayed the path, he stayed grinding, he knew what he needed to do to be able to come, you know, and play in games like these. And you know, his production's always been there. You know, you knew he could always do it, but it was just a matter of sticking with it. And, you know, he's proven himself that, you know, he's done stuck with it, and, you know, it's where he's brought him today too. So.
Describe the last shot that you made, how that play played out for you, and what you were able to do.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's probably one coach don't like as much, but, you know, if it goes in,
I like
you love it. But, you know, yeah, it was. We really wanted to get Mike downhill and flat, try to make him make a play like he was doing all game long. And you've seen Connor Hickman, number 10 for them, come up to try to run and jump, and Mike to get rid of the ball. Drew didn't necessarily come to the middle, so I knew I needed to step up and at least have an outlet. And I said about 5 seconds left on the shot clock. You know, dribbling to my left and pulling up for 3 is about one of my favorite things and most comfortable things to do. So it was in a comfortable situation for me, and I let it fly, and it happened to go in. And, you know, that's what she wrote for me.
Big shot.
Roberts was on you though. You had to deal with that. How'd you deal with that?
Just trying to put my body back in front of him. I think he got me on a block shot, you know, early in the game, but I was more so fouling out and then got me in the second half and blocked my shot. So I knew I needed to create a little bit more space to be able to get that off. And you know, it was just a wide, hard one dribble and just pull up and let it fly. Happen to go in. So.
For both of you guys, I mean, the adversity you guys are dealing with is out of your control. It's not anybody's fault. It's just something that happened. But sometimes that doesn't matter. Sometimes things can roll downhill from a bad loss, or you know, from a loss where there's good effort and things can start going the wrong direction. Instead, this one goes the other direction. And I'm not saying the adversity that you're going through is good, but did you guys is the most important thing is that you guys turned it into a good thing and gained some momentum off of it?
Yeah, I'll say with that, you know, trying to stay the course stay the team, build a culture, and stay the course within the game plan. I think was our biggest thing coming into this game. We knew that we're obviously going to be, you know, a lot bigger than us, and we need to get on the boards. And I think that's something that I try to focus in on more, and even guards helping down to rebound with the bigs. I think that's something that we all going into this game knew we were going to have to do. So I think, like you said, going back to what we said, you know, doing whatever the team needs just to be, you know, come out on top. And I think that's something that we focused in on coming to.
It's a huge momentum game. I mean, any game that you win in the Valley is huge momentum. And, you know, some of the newer guys in the locker room, I think they figured it out pretty quick in this game today. That Valley is a little bit different than most. You know, you come in, you got to be tough. You know, and probably 9 times out of 10 on every nightly basis, whatever time you play, it's going to be games like that. It's going to be close, you know, tough games. And the team who makes less mistakes typically wins the game. So, you know, any win in the Valley is going to be, you know, a huge momentum swing. But like you said, for us, you know, building to where we were at the beginning of the season to now, is a huge difference. You know, we've got a long way still to go, but you know, obviously getting, you know, 3 important players back is going to be huge for us. You know, we've been playing and doing what we can without them, but it'll only get better from here. You know, that's the way we've all been thinking about it from day one. So.
Anything else?
Coop, I was just curious, when you shot it, how confident were you that it was going in?
I knew it was online. I didn't. It wasn't quite a swish. I knew it was online, so I had a good feeling it was going in. But thank God it did. So.
And just one last question for Mike. Would you say, since you got here, this is your best game here?
Yes, sir. I'll say all around. It's something that I try to, even rebounding wise, I try to focus on helping my teammates crashing down and being physical and just trying to get in there and scrap. So I think I agree.
I can answer that one for you and say yes. Absolutely.
Thanks,
Anything
guys.
else? Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
guys.